What's a habit you picked up during quarantine that you still maintain? Story 1. Before 2020, I was that guy. Stayed late, answered emails at dinner, picked up extra shifts like a corporate golden retriever. Then lockdown hit, and I actually met my family. Turns out my kids are hilarious, my wife is brilliant, and my dog had been passive-aggressively peeing on my office chair for years. Now, 5 o'clock hits, and I'm out. "This needs to get done today," my boss says. "Nah," I reply. "I'm late for home." And honestly, no one's fired me yet, but even if they did, plenty of jobs, only one family. Story 2. My boss once tried the whole, "I notice you leave at exactly 5:15 guilt trip." My actual angel of a manager shut it down immediately with corporate politeness, which I assume translates to, "Get a life, dude." I straight up told them, my job isn't to be a cog in some corporate machine, it's being a mom. And unless my keyboard starts crying in the middle of the night, needing a diaper change, that's priority 1. Now, 5:15 means I'm off the clock, on my way home, and ready to spend 2.5 hours with the tiny human who actually depends on me. Story 3. The way I see it, no one at work is going to remember or care if I stayed late. In 20 years, my kids won't say, "Wow, Dad sure was dedicated to those spreadsheets." The only people who will remember all those extra hours? My family. So yeah, I bust my ass at work, during work hours. But the second that clock hits 5, that's my time, my wife, my kids, my life. The job? It'll still be there in the morning. Story 4. I don't know if quarantine unlocked some kind of hidden survivalist in me, but I now keep a stash of toilet paper like I'm preparing for the apocalypse. Pre-2020 me would have laughed at the idea of hoarding Charmin, but post-2020 me knows never again will I be down to my last roll, contemplating the absorbency of paper towels. Some people came out of the pandemic with new hobbies. I came out with a lifelong commitment to bathroom security. Story 5. I used to carry my wallet in my back pocket, for years. I thought sitting on it made me look cool, like I had important business to attend to. Then COVID hit, I stopped needing it, and I guess I lost the muscle memory. The first time I put it back in my back pocket, I nearly lost my mind. Who lives like this? Now I'm a front pocket wallet guy, which honestly makes way more sense. My spine is thanking me, even if my past self is screaming in betrayal. Story 6. Haven't worn a bra with underwire since 2020. One time I tried putting one on for a dinner out, and I lasted maybe an hour before I rushed home to free the girls. Whoever invented underwire should have to wear one forever. It's like a medieval torture device that somehow became mainstream fashion. These days, if I do wear a bra, it's the comfy kind. And if someone doesn't like the flippy-floppy situation, they can look away or catch a titty slap from across the room. Story 7. I thought I was normal about germs until the pandemic ended, and I realized I had permanently leveled up. There's hand sanitizer in my car, my bag, my coat, within arm's reach at all times. Grocery shopping, sanitize, pumping gas, sanitize. Touching an Amazon package that sat on my porch for 5 minutes, you already know, it's not even anxiety, it's just habit now. The other day I caught myself wiping down my steering wheel. Who even does that? Me, I do that. Story 8. I don't get FOMO anymore. Like at all. In fact, canceled plans bring me a level of joy I never thought possible. There's no, "Oh man, I wish I was there." It's just relief. ROMO, relief of missing out. If it's between a crowded party or my couch, I'm choosing my couch every time. Someone asked me if I was bummed about missing a birthday party, and all I could think was, no, homo, happy over missing out. Story 9. I don't know when my sleep schedule died, but it's been in the grave since 2020. There was a time when I thought staying up past 1 a.m. was reckless. Now, 2:30 a.m. is just when I exist. It got worse when I started working from home, when you don't have to wake up and commute. Why would you force yourself to sleep at a reasonable hour? I'll sign in at 8 a.m. sure, but the first hour is just emails and vibes. If I have to choose between a strict bedtime and doom scrolling until my eyes burn, I know which one wins. Story 10. Ordering groceries online was a pandemic necessity, but now, it's a way of life. Why would I willingly go into a store, push a cart, dodge screaming kids, and fight someone for the last avocado when I could just not? I can shop in my pajamas, avoid small talk, and magically have food appear at my door. Someone asked if I ever missed the experience of in-person grocery shopping. Absolutely not. Curbside pickup forever. Story 11. I started working from home during the pandemic, and my standards for work attire have never recovered. Pre-2020, I actually tried. Nice shirts, real pants, maybe even shoes. Now? Business on top, pajama party on the bottom? Button-up shirt? Sure. Sweatpants? Absolutely. I call it the professional mullet. My sister calls it a pandemic tuxedo. Either way, if my camera is off, there's a 100% chance I'm wrapped in a blanket like a sentient burrito. Story 12. I used to think social media addiction was something other people had. Then 2020 happened, and suddenly I was glued to my phone like my life depended on it. Doom scrolling through bad news, watching random TikToks, Googling why do I feel like this? At 3 a.m., repeat daily. Now, even though the world has mostly moved on, my brain still demands its daily dose of endless scrolling. It's like my thumbs don't even belong to me anymore. They just open apps on their own. Story 13. Pre-pandemic, I wasn't a runner. Like at all. I wouldn't even run for the bus. I'd just accept my fate. But when quarantine hit, running became my only excuse to leave the house. What started as a desperate attempt to escape my own four walls turned into an actual hobby. I lost 50 pounds, and now I'm training for a half marathon. If you had told 2019 me that I'd willingly run 13 miles for fun, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. Story 14. I used to think working late meant I was dedicated. Now I know it just meant I was gullible. No one remembers the extra hours you put in. No one cares that you sacrificed your evenings to meet some arbitrary deadline. But your kids? Your partner? They remember. So yeah, I work hard during work hours. But the second that clock hits 5, I'm out. My family gets the best of me. My job gets whatever is left over. Story 15. I still have a stash of sanitizing wipes, like I'm preparing for the next apocalypse. People talk about post-pandemic life, but I don't think I'll ever go back to touching things raw. Pumping gas, wipe. Grocery cart, wipe. Hotel remote, double wipe. It's not even about being a germaphobe, it's just better. Why would I willingly marinate my hands in gas station bacteria when I cannot do that? Story 16. I stopped wearing makeup in 2020 and my face has been thanking me ever since. At first it was just because no one was going to see me. Then I realized I actually liked not having my skin suffocated by foundation every day. Now I wear makeup maybe twice a year, and every time I do, I'm immediately counting down the minutes until I can wash it off. My old mascara is so expired it might be a biohazard at this point, but I'm too lazy to replace it. Story 17. The first time I tried wearing an underwire bra again, I barely lasted an hour before I rushed home to take it off like it was on fire. I don't know how I ever lived like that. It's all comfy bras or nothing now. A friend tried to convince me to wear a real bra for a wedding, and I was like, do you want me to be in pain or do you want me to be happy? Because it's not both. At this point, if anyone has a problem with the floppies, that sounds like their problem. Story 18. I don't get social anxiety exactly. I get social apathy. I used to at least try to be social, but now? If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. The idea of spending energy on small talk when I could be home in sweatpants is unbearable. People say I've changed, and they're right. I've evolved. I've ascended past the need for unnecessary outings. It's not FOMO anymore. It's JOMO, the joy of missing out. Story 19. Buying everything online used to feel like a luxury. Now it's just how I live. Why would I go to a store when I can press a button and have it appear at my door like magic? Groceries, delivered, clothes, shipped, toothpaste, on subscription. The only reason I even know the layout of a Target anymore is because of muscle memory. If I had to actually go inside, I think I'd need a map. Story 20. Had a parent ask if I could tutor her kid after school, and I told her I leave when my contractual day is over. She looked confused and hit me with, "Oh, I see. You're just in it for the money." Lady, I'm a teacher. If I was in it for the money, I'd have picked literally any other job. Also, do you stay after work unpaid for fun? No? Then why should I? Story 21. I used to be the germs don't bother me guy. I'd share straws, eat food off questionable surfaces, and not even think twice about it. Then the pandemic happened, and I saw how bad most people are at basic hygiene. The sheer backlash against washing hands was enough to change me forever. Now, unless your family, stay 6 feet away from me, permanently. Story 22. Going out used to be fun. Now, the idea of going out is fun, but the reality? Exhausting. Someone will invite me to something, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds great. Then the day comes, and I suddenly remember how comfortable my couch is. If plans get canceled, instant serotonin boost. Canceled plans are better than no plans because there's the illusion of being social without the burden of actually doing it. Story 23. I started journaling during the pandemic just to keep myself sane, and now I can't stop. Something about putting my thoughts on paper makes them feel more manageable. I used to roll my eyes at people who said journaling was life-changing, but turns out they were right. Sometimes I read old entries and cringe at past me, but it's nice to see progress. At the very least, it's cheaper than therapy. Story 24. My sister says I have permanent resting bitch face now. I swear I didn't used to be this way, but somewhere between lockdown and returning to society, my face just stopped trying. Someone asked me the other day if I was mad, and I was like, no, this is just my face now. Pandemic changed me. Me and my resting bastard face salute you. Story 25. I wash my hands constantly now. Every time I come inside. Every time I touch a package. Every time I go near a public surface. My 12-year-old does it too. I told her she doesn't have to wash her hands between every class, and she just looked at me and said, Mom, I'm from COVID. Fair enough. Story 26. I picked up learning German on Duolingo during lockdown just for something to do, and now I'm 1,700 days in. At this point, I think the owl would actually hunt me down if I stopped. I don't even need to know German. I just can't break the streak. I could get hit by a bus, and my final act would be logging in to keep it alive. Story 27. Still masking when I drive Uber. I tell people they don't have to, but I've got 20 strangers cycling through my car every shift. It's for my safety. Most passengers don't care, and the ones who do, not my kind of people anyway. If someone gets mad about me wearing a mask in my car, they can go ahead and walk. Story 28. I used to be the person who needed an event every weekend. Brunches, bar crawls, game nights, something. Then the pandemic hit, and I discovered something revolutionary. Staying home rules. No loud music, no overpriced drinks, no pretending I care about small talk with a friend of a friend, just me, my couch, and whatever show I'm binging. Someone asked me the other day if I ever get FOMO. Nope. I've got JOMO, the joy of missing out. Story 29. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who plans my grocery runs like a military operation, but here we are. If the parking lot looks full, I'm turning around. If there's a long line at checkout, I'm reevaluating my entire cart. I used to just deal with crowds, but now, if I have to interact with more than 5 people in a single outing, I need a nap afterward. My social battery was already low pre-2020, but now, it's non-existent. Story 30. Had to put on real pants the other day, and I swear my body revolted. Zippers, buttons, the audacity. I haven't worn anything structured since 2020, and I'm not going back. It's sweatpants, leggings, or nothing. Someone called my outfit business sloppy, and honestly, I'm taking that as a compliment. If I can take a nap in it and answer emails in it, then it's doing its job. Story 31. Dalgona coffee had a chokehold on me in 2020. I don't know why I was suddenly whisking instant coffee into a frothy masterpiece every morning, but it felt necessary. The pandemic ended and I told myself I'd stop, but no. 3 years later, I'm still out here like a barista with a personal vendetta against my own wrist. Regular coffee? Too easy. If I'm not aggressively whipping caffeine into submission, am I even awake? Story 32. My mascara is probably a biohazard at this point. I used to do a full face of makeup every day, but after 2 years of going barefaced, I just stopped. I pulled out my makeup bag for a dinner the other night and realized I hadn't touched it in months. Even my foundation looked at me like, "Who are you?" I used to think I needed makeup to look good. Now I realize I just needed to stop caring. Story 33. I started running during lockdown just as an excuse to leave the house, and now I'm one of those people. The kind that says things like, "I'm training for a half marathon." I don't know how it happened. I used to consider light jogging a near-death experience. Now, if I don't get my miles in, I feel weird. My past self would be horrified. My knees are also horrified, but it's too late to turn back now. Story 34. Online shopping used to be a convenience. Now it's a lifestyle, groceries, delivered, clothes, shipped, toilet paper, on a subscription plan. The other day I realized I hadn't physically stepped into a store in over a month. And honestly, I'm thriving. The only time I'm setting foot in a Target is if I accidentally forget to click same-day delivery. Story 35. Had a kid's parent ask if I could tutor their son after school, and I told them I go home when my contract ends. They looked confused and said, "Oh, so you're just in it for the money?" "Ma'am, I'm a teacher. If I was in it for the money, I'd be doing literally anything else. Also, do you stay after work unpaid just for fun? No? Cool." Story 36. I don't know if the pandemic permanently rewired my brain, but I cannot be raw-dogging reality anymore. If I leave the house, my phone, keys, and hand sanitizer are coming with me. I have a bottle in my car, one in my bag, probably one in my pocket. At this point, it's just part of my DNA. Someone saw me wipe down a gas pump the other day and said, "Still doing that, huh?" Yes, I am. And I'm happier for it. Story 37. My sleep schedule has never recovered. Before 2020, I was a responsible 11 p.m. bedtime kind of person. Now, if I see the clock hit 2:30 a.m., I just sigh and accept my fate. The worst part is I know I need sleep. I just don't care. I'll sit there doom-scrolling or watching a random YouTube deep dive like, "Wow, I should sleep." Then proceed to stay awake for another hour. Story 38. I keep a stash of toilet paper like I'm preparing for a second wave. Pre-pandemic me would have thought that was ridiculous. Post-pandemic me knows better. You don't realize how much you depend on TP until you're staring at an empty shelf in panic, wondering if you have the mental strength to ration a 4-pack. Never again. Story 39. My kid was born in the middle of the pandemic, so now washing hands isn't just a habit, it's law. He's almost 3, and every time we walk inside, he shouts, "Wash your hands," like a tiny health inspector. The other day I forgot, and he straight up reminded me. Not even mad about it. I created a monster, but at least it's a clean one. Story 40. I used to be fine with crowds. Now, grocery stores make me feel like I'm wading through chaos. If there are too many people, my brain just shuts down. I have to time my trips to avoid the rush because if I get stuck in a packed aisle, I start contemplating whether I really need bread. Spoiler, I don't. I can live without it. Story 41. Still masking when I drive Uber. I tell people they don't have to, but I have 20 strangers cycling through my car every shift. I'm not about to risk getting sick just because someone thinks masks are over. If a passenger ever gets weird about it, I just smile and say, "Feel free to get out and walk." Story 42. I don't know when it happened, but somewhere between lockdown and now, I completely lost my social tolerance. It's not that I can't be social, it's just that I don't want to be. The thought of a packed event? Exhausting. Small talk? Unbearable. If I can't wear sweatpants to it, I probably don't want to go. Story 43. WFH turned me into a different person. I used to wake up early, commute, actually dress for work. Now, I roll out of bed 5 minutes before my first meeting, throw on a decent shirt, and pretend I'm not still wearing pajama pants. The other day, my company tried to bring us back in the office, and I had genuine culture shock. My brain was like, "You expect me to wear real pants and talk to people in person?" Nah. Story 44. I picked up Duolingo during quarantine just for fun, and now I can't stop. The owl has me in a chokehold. I don't even need to learn German, I just have to keep the streak alive. I could be stranded in the middle of nowhere with 1% battery, and my last act would be logging in just to avoid the guilt trip. Story 45. Cancelled plans? Best feeling ever. I used to think bailing was rude, but now, if someone cancels on me, I feel nothing but relief. No obligations, no social exhaustion, just pure, unfiltered freedom. Someone once asked if I was sad I missed an event, and all I could think was no homo, happy over missing out. Story 46. I haven't worn jeans since 2020, and honestly, I don't know if I ever will again. The pandemic introduced me to the pure bliss of elastic waistbands, and now the thought of squeezing into stiff denim feels like a personal attack. Someone tried to convince me that real pants make you feel more put together. Nope. If being put together means feeling like my lower half is in prison, then I'll gladly stay in my soft pants era forever. Story 47. I used to think ordering groceries online was lazy. Then I did it once, and now I physically cannot go back to in-store shopping. Why would I? I get to avoid long lines, small talk, and the existential crisis of forgetting something on the other side of the store. The only downside is that sometimes they replace my avocados with something insane, like the time I ordered flour and got instant mashed potatoes. But hey, small price to pay for avoiding the chaos. Story 48. I picked up Wordle during quarantine just for something to do, and now it's my entire morning routine. Wake up, check my phone, stare at 5 blank spaces like my life depends on it. The other day, I had a one-guess win, and I almost called in sick just to celebrate properly. I don't even like word games. I just need the little green squares to validate my existence. Story 49. I have no idea how I ever let people breathe on me before 2020. Like strangers, just standing in lines, exhaling on me, and I was fine with it. The pandemic permanently changed me. Now if someone gets too close, I physically flinch. My personal space bubble has a force field, and if you enter it, I'm mentally preparing to hit you with a shopping cart. Story 50. I don't care what event I'm going to. If I can get away with wearing sneakers, I will. The pandemic reminded me that my feet deserve comfort, and no pair of heels is worth the suffering. The last time I tried wearing nice shoes, I made it an hour before I started walking like a wounded animal. Never again. Story 51. I still wash my hands the second I walk into my house. Grocery store, wash. Running errands, wash. Bringing in a package, definitely wash. My 12-year-old does it too, and when I told her she didn't have to do it after every class period, she just looked at me and said, "Mom, I'm from COVID." Fair enough. Story 52. Cancelled plans are my favorite kind of plans. There's no better feeling than getting ready to go somewhere and then suddenly not having to go. No effort. No social energy required. Just me, my couch, and the beautiful, beautiful silence of an empty calendar. People ask if I miss going out. I don't even miss people. Story 53. I keep a stash of toilet paper like a paranoid doomsday prepper. Pre-2020, I never thought about it. But then the great TP shortage happened, and now I have a closet full of the good stuff just in case. If society ever collapses again, I may not have survival skills, but I will be wiping in luxury. Story 54. My resting bitch face has reached new levels post-pandemic. It's not even intentional. My face just gave up. Someone asked me the other day if I was mad, and I had to explain, no, this is just how I look now. I used to at least try to look friendly, but at this point, my face is permanently set to please don't talk to me. Story 55. I still wear a mask when I drive Uber. Do I have to? No. Do I want to breathe in 20 different people's air every shift? Also no. If a passenger ever has an issue with it, they can feel free to find another ride. If someone gets mad about me wearing a mask in my car, I automatically assume they're the type of person who doesn't wash their hands after using the bathroom. Story 56. I used to be the type of person who felt bad about saying no to plans. Now, if I don't want to go, I'm not going. No excuses, no guilt, just a simple, nah, I'm good. And the best part? No one can argue with it. If I don't want to be there, I won't be. Simple as that. Story 57. Doom scrolling became my pandemic hobby, and unfortunately, I never quit. My thumbs open social media apps on autopilot. I'll be in bed at 2 a.m. exhausted, but instead of sleeping, I'm reading some random drama about strangers I'll never meet. My brain is addicted to nonsense, and I don't know how to stop. Story 58. I picked up learning German on Duolingo during lockdown just for fun, and now I'm too deep. I don't even need to know German, but I cannot break my streak. The Duolingo owl has me hostage. At this point, if I was stranded on a deserted island, my first thought wouldn't be, how do I get rescued? It'd be, how do I log in before midnight? Story 59. Before the pandemic, I'd eat with my hands like a barbarian, grabbing chips, eating fries, licking my fingers without a second thought. Now, if I don't have a napkin or hand sanitizer nearby, I won't eat. I don't care how good the food is. If my hands aren't clean, I'd rather starve. Story 60. I tried wearing jeans the other day, and my body physically rejected them. The waistband felt like a personal attack. How did we ever live like this? If I can't comfortably nap in it, I don't want it on my body. People say dressing nice makes you feel put together. No, soft pants make me feel put together. Story 61. I wash my hands like a brainwashed toddler. The second I walk in the door, wash. The moment I touch something remotely public, wash. My pandemic baby does it too. He's not even 3, but when we come inside, he yells, "Wash your hands!" like a tiny drill sergeant. If nothing else, I've raised a hygienic little menace. Story 62. I thought working late made me a hard worker. Now I realize it just made me expendable. No one remembers the extra hours. No one cares. But my family, my friends, they remember when I wasn't around. So yeah, I'll work hard while I'm at work. But the second the day ends, I'm out. No emails, no overtime, no guilt. Story 63. I still have permanent social apathy. Before the pandemic, I could pretend to be an extrovert. Now, if something isn't truly worth my energy, I'm skipping it. I'll make time for close friends, but casual acquaintances, small talk, social events where I have to mingle? Absolutely not. If I can be home in sweatpants, I will be. Story 64. I got so used to curbside pickup during the pandemic that now the idea of walking inside a store feels ridiculous. Why would I do that? Why would I willingly navigate crowded aisles when I can just click a button and have someone put my groceries directly in my trunk? If I never have to physically step inside a Walmart again, I'll be just fine. Story 65. I still sleep at the most ungodly hours. I used to be a responsible person with a solid bedtime. Now, if I go to bed before 2 a.m., it feels wrong, and it's not like I'm doing anything productive. I'm just laying there, phone in hand, watching videos about conspiracy theories I don't even believe in. Story 66. People asked if I'd ever go back to wearing real bras after 2020, and the answer is absolutely not. I tried once, and I swear I lasted 45 minutes before I was clawing it off like it was on fire. If it's not comfy, I'm not wearing it. If gravity wants to win, I'll let it.